Hello, hello, hello. Let me finish off with The Awkward Black Man, a collection of short stories by Walter Mosley. Kind of end with a science fiction story, which is about a guy getting hired to basically be the promo guy for transferring souls, as they put it, from the old model to a new model. Um, and this guy gets prosecuted for doing this to a billionaire, and then leaving the new model in a room with the old guy, and showing, basically saying, yeah, click off this and that, and he's the body, which is he says he claims is brain dead, will die. Gets convicted, and he's talking with the woman who he hired on for all this. At the end, it's like, well, they should execute us all because there's going to be higher consciousnesses that are going to come out of this, and they're going to just take over. And indeed, at one point, he finally does, I guess, die, but then he wakes up, and there's this disembodied mechanical voice talking to him that says he's their god. And that's the story. Okay. Um, and we have a story with Laertes Jackson, is it? Who is a bank teller who, basically he's had one promotion in the 20 years he's worked there. He is what you would call maybe a difficult employee. He's always kind of answering back. He's always got things to say. Um, he applies for a job at a corporation, and the woman's like, calls him an African American. It's like, well, why would you call me an African American? Would you call someone who's white a European American? It's like, no, you called me an African American because it's a kind of a step up from being, all these other words going back to the super racist ones. It's like, you might as well call me a slave American if you're going to use that kind of language. And she's like, okay, I guess we don't need to do any more interview. And he stops and says, like, I'd like a transcript of this. They signed a thing saying, like, this is you could be recorded and all that. It's like, I would like a printed transcript of this mailed to me, as he goes out, and ends up being a guy comes and interviews him after posing as a bank thing, and it's like, okay, they end up finding, the corporation ends up deciding that he is a genius, and that they'd like to hire him to basically, we'll give you data, and then you'll think about it, and you'll tell us what you think about it. Um, and at the same time, he's also on a dating site where, of course, he does not have any luck with ladies whatsoever, except for one woman who, or purports to be a woman, Mona Love or something like that, who says, like, I have no interest in being in a romantic relationship with you, but I find you interesting as a mind. Let's exchange email things. And he's kind of heartbroken by this, but he does actually get back to her, and he tells her about the stuff. And he's like, he gets another call from the corporation, and it's like, is it gonna, are you going to, I thought you would have found somebody else for the job. It's like, there's nobody else. It's either you or nothing. And that's how the story ends. Very much, I get the sense that Walter Mosley definitely comes from a generation of science fiction reader who's maybe, like, into his Robert E. Heinlein. There's a certain kind of a dogged self, um, rugged individual self that comes through in these stories of trying to kind of parse through the bullshit, uh, without it's, without the creepy kind of old May December romances, or kind of this, as much of the sexism as, because of Heinlein of his time. So yeah, that is The Awkward Black Man, that collection of stories, which, oh God, that's a hard thing to review. I guess it's definitely some awkward black men. I'll have to kind of go back and think about those stories and whether I have anything to actually say about them, or it's just like, oh, that was an interesting collection of stories. Some of them were a little bit on the samey side. Definitely themes going in there of aging, of kind of a certain amount of male sexuality. Um, that wears a little bit better in the kind of the mysteries with Easy Rawling than it does in kind of more things. There's a little note of the whole kind of frustrations with not being taken seriously as a genre writer. Yeah, yeah, some interesting play, interesting stuff going on there. I'll have to review it again because, like, trying to keep the stuff in my head is beyond my average intellect. But I'll leave it there. All right, more videos later.